Welcome back to Apron Strings. I know it's been a week since I've been here, but I've been busy and I want to show y'all what I've been doing. I told you I've got to get my yard done, and we've got about, 4 more weeks of school, and then I can be back to my regular schedule. But got a good casserole I'm going to make. I love cabbage. I like anything that would go with cornbread. So I'm going to make a cabbage casserole, and I have some sausage that I need to cook, so I'm going to throw it on the grill and smear a little bit of barbecue season of some kind on it, barbecue sauce, and that'll be our meal because we have a wedding tonight and they're going to have a meal there, so we're not going to eat much before we get there. But I'm going to get the casserole, and then while it's in the oven, we're going to run out back and show y'all what I've done in the garden. I've been busy, and it's looking good. I'm almost happy, but not quite. So let's get on with making our casserole. I've got the oven heating to 350, and we're going to need some cabbage and onion, cream of chicken soup, a cup of mayonnaise, some melted butter, some Ritz crackers, and some cheddar cheese, and I think onion. Got my onion already peeled. So we're going to shred the cabbage and get going. So let me get everything ready, and we'll gather here at the butcher block and get busy. And right outside the window I have a hummingbird feeder, and I got a busy little bird eating out there. It's hard to not watch him. Okay, let me get the cabbage out of the bag, rinsed off, and I've already used it and washed it, but I'm going to rinse it again, and then we'll get going. Okay, I've almost finished shredding the cabbage here. I'm going to, and I just shred it as little as I can. I took the core out, but I see a little bit of the core left, but I guess it'll get soft in the oven. I think I'd get soft in the oven. Okay, there's our cabbage. What we're going to do is layer it in our pan, and I've already put kitchen spray, Pam. I've already put Pam in the bottom, so I'm going to put my cabbage around in here. Y'all, I like cabbage. Y'all know that. I like cabbage slaw. I like it roasted in the oven. I just like cabbage. Now, sometimes I'll add some carrots to this for color, but today I'm just going to do cabbage. And you can use green onions, some purple onions. You can mix up your onions if you want to. Okay, we've got our cabbage in. I've got a loaf of sourdough bread rising over here, and I'm trying to be careful not to bump it. I'm going to just put these onions in smileys. I don't know what I mean by smileys. It looks like they're smiling. These little slices. And I want to be sure I have enough onion to go over all of the top, so I went ahead and peeled 2. But it looks like 1 may be enough. This is a sweet onion. You can use, like I said, whatever kind you like. Today is a gorgeous day. Not yesterday morning when we got up, the yard was flooded. It was horrible. It had rained probably 5 inches in the night. It was terrible. So I'm glad for the sunshine today, but I had to wear rubber boots out back yesterday because there was so much water back there. I gave a bunch of plants to a little boy at school, and his mother loved plants, and so I told him, I said, I'll be glad to give her some starts of what I have. So he texted me yesterday morning, and they came, and she got, the whole back of their little van was full. And it's always fun to share. Okay, we're going to take these onions and just layer them over the top of our cabbage. No pattern to it. I'm just laying them on the top. And it looks like I might want some more onion in mine. I like onion too. Yum. What if I'd have caramelized it? Wouldn't that add some flavor? Thank you to all the new subscribers that have subscribed to the channel. I'm very grateful. When I get to 20,000, and that shouldn't be too long, maybe. Is that Faith talking? I'm going to have a giveaway. So, and I like to give stuff away. That's fun. I like the excitement of waiting to see who wins. Yeah, that's more like it. It's kind of covered on the top with onion. Now you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to sprinkle me some onion and garlic powder on the top of that. And when I put the next stuff on, it'll all go down in there. Add some yummy flavor. Y'all, I really am sorry that I'm lagging behind on videos. But I want to work while I'm physically able, and I do enjoy it. And I like making that extra money because I can do stuff from my backyard. So we've got, I think school's out the 25th of May. And I don't know if I'll work that last week or not. I don't think there'll be kids in ISS, but I guess we'll see. Okay, this is a cup of mayonnaise, and I like Hellmann's. I like Duke's too, but I've been buying Hellmann's because they put it on sale. And then a can of cream of chicken soup. Come on out. That's pretty good. Got most of it with one flop out. I like to have some different side dishes to share with y'all every once in a while. And sometimes all of a sudden I'll remember one that I forgot about that's a good one. So I bring it up and share it. Now right quick, I'm going to get my little butter, melted butter, because I need another half a cup of butter melted. So I'm going to get this melted because we're going to put a cracker crumb top on this. And I like to cut it up some so it'll melt quicker. Put that in the microwave and let it get melted while I'm doing something else. I'm going to get a whisk and try to not slosh this out while I mix it together. Now, I like Swiss cheese with this cabbage casserole and a little parm, but I don't have any Swiss, so I'm going to use the Mexican style 5-blend cheese today, and it'll be just as good. I just like that little unique flavor that the Swiss cheese gives it. Okay, I got it all mixed up. See, it just looks like a big old thing of mayonnaise, doesn't it? And I'll get that on the top. Make sure there's some all over it. When I was growing up, Mama didn't do a lot of casseroles. Mama cooked beans and rice and cornbread and macaroni goulash and stuff like that that would stretch the groceries. Lots of fried chicken and taters and gravy. But she didn't do a lot of casseroles. And you know, all her life she didn't do a lot of casseroles. When Mom and Dad retired and they were older, Mom was 85, Dad was 89 when he passed away, she would cook a big meal and put it in the icebox, and then they would eat on it 2 or 3 days, warm on the plate up till it was gone. But she very rarely ever made casseroles. And I don't know why, because that stretches your food dollars. Okay, we've got our mayonnaise concoction on the top. So now we're going to crush our Ritz crackers. I'm going to just put them in this Ziploc bag right here. 1 stick of Ritz crackers. See if I can do it without getting my rolling pin out. Doing a pretty good job with my knuckles. Y'all, in the backyard, Troy would bring the little tractor, little curly Sue, the small one, has that bucket on it, and he would get a bucket of the mushroom compost, and he would come and dump it in my raised bed. He'd maneuver up in there, and then I had to take the shovel and shovel it to the ones he couldn't get to. And I still got a sore hand here because I shoveled compost and I shoveled, because it would mess up my pea gravel. Then I'd go get me some pea gravel, fix my path up. I worked. So y'all, that in the evenings I come in because I have to get it ready to plant. I'm really a little bit late planting, but I think it's still cool enough here that I'll be okay. Now I'm going to use my same measuring cup here. It's not going to hurt anything. I'll go it in the same pan. Put my crumbs in there. And then we're going to need, it called for a cup of cheese, so that's a big old handful. Or if you got little big dainty hands, it might be 2 handfuls. But I don't have no dainty hands. So I'm going to put that in there. And just kind of toss it a snitch. And I really want to add some onion and garlic powder to it, but I put a pretty good bit in there, so I guess I won't. Woo, y'all, I'm such a good mess maker. Okay, let's get our melted butter. Somebody asked me the other day about my roll-out microwave. I had never seen one, and my microwave used to be at the top of this pantry here, and it was hard to reach. And my friend, Pam Bounds, had redone her mother-in-law's kitchen, and she had me to come over and look at Mary Lou's kitchen, and she had a roll-out microwave. Man, I thought that was the cat daddy. So a few years later, when I got to redo my kitchen, and I was telling the guy that did it what I wanted a roll-out microwave. And they had never put one in the kitchens they had built. So I got my roll-out microwave, and I've so enjoyed it. Now they make one that you can just pull open and push shut. That one you're supposed to do the button every time. Sometimes I get in a hurry and hip it, because it acts like it's my age and it's dragging. Okay, on my messy butcher block here, we're going to pull this over here and put our topping on. Let's see if I can just do it around. Oh, pooey, there came a whole big load of it, like a dump truck. It dumped it all at one time. But I can kind of spread it, I guess. Ooh, y'all, this is so good. I hadn't even had breakfast yet. This is what I'm going to have this will be my brunch or whatever you want to call it, because I'm going to have some of this before the sausage gets grilled, I imagine. I like Ritz crackers. I like them when you put them in a pie and act like they're apples. I like them when you eat them by themselves or with something. I just like them. So this is going to be yummy. Now, if y'all are on a septic tank and you've mixed up something like that, before you wash it down your drain, you need to wipe that out with a paper towel or something, because that butter will get hard again in your lines. And if there's something there for it to bind with, you know what's going to happen? You're going to have a stopped up line. Ask me how I know. One time I told y'all I had a class here, people making pizza. And I had help in the kitchen, and they didn't know to wipe anything out. And that little bits of here and there pizza dough made a big ball of pizza dough where the U is in your pipe and your drain. And Troy had to take all of that loose and get that wad out because my sink wouldn't drain. So y'all, anytime there's anything that'll solidify, wipe it out. Don't just squash it down your drain. You'll regret it. Alright, I'm going to get this in the oven for about 30 minutes till it gets good and hot and the cheese melts and starts to brown a little bit. And then we'll take it out and taste of it. And I'm going to run y'all out back and let you see what's going on with the garden. So I'll be right back. Got my sourdough bread rising, and I like to do it in this Pullman pan. It makes a good loaf, just like a loaf of sandwich bread. So now we're going to go outside and let me show you the garden. While I'm on my way, I'm going to show y'all something. Y'all see those little bitty planters right there? I ordered them little boogers because it said they were 12 by blah, blah, blah. I didn't pay attention. It was centimeters, not inches. But they're cute. But I thought I was getting planters that I could set around with a big old cute face on them. And of course they're from China, I'm sure. So I didn't even try to mail them back. But anytime you see something on Facebook, make sure you look at the dimensions. Okay, y'all know the drill. I just stepped outside the back door. Here's my hydrangeas that April got. I bought 4, and then she bought me some. She said that's for Mother's Day ahead of time. So I'll have enough. My rosemary. Remember the other day I showed y'all my dill? It's growing. Everything's growing in the green stalk. Look at my parsley. It's doing good. Here's some more hydrangeas and some jasmine vine. I think y'all seen all of this. This Rose of Sharon that I rooted has a bloom on it. So let me see. Y'all remember that, look how good the lavender's doing, and it's even got a little bloom on it. I'm real happy that wintered over. There's my ginger mint. I'm anxious for that to get big enough I can try some of it. Okay, my flowers are doing good. This is the African blue basil that I rooted over the winter, and it was getting real leggy. But see here, I've weighted it down, and it's coming up with some, you know, those long stringy things, and it's coming up with some good ones, plants. This is my 4 o'clocks that I planted in here. That's basil with some salvia around it. But y'all remember that I had those horse feeder trays, troughs out here. And they were, the plastic was breaking, and they were a mess. So I came out here last Saturday, and I see where the oval one is here, and then the 2 little square ones in that oval. Remember, there was 3 black troughs in there. Well, I took it on myself to drag those out of there one at a time. I had already dipped all the soil out of them. Man, I felt like a mule pulling a wagon. Those things were heavy, but I knew if I didn't do it, it wasn't going to get done. So now I've got an oval and 2 squares and an oval, and then I've got those over there that I've had all this time. That were there last year. That's those Mexican hydrangeas that just come back wherever they take an ocean to run a root under the ground and come back. But I've got these ready to plant, and remember, one of my black ones had thyme in it. So I scooped the thyme up, and I've got a little piece planted here, and I put a bunch of it in the end of this planter. And this is my 4 o'clocks. Look how big. This is, remember, they're here every year. How big they are. And I put a little bit of thyme in with this tomato plant because I just needed to plug it somewhere, and it's doing good. So when I get ready to know where I want to do a ground cover, I will dig up some more of that and put it there. But I want to show y'all something else too. It's kind of a mess over here, but look, I got plumes. Aren't they beautiful? Generally, all the way down the sunroom wall here, they're blooming all at one time, but they're not doing that this year. But I'm sure proud of the blooms. They're pretty. So now let's turn around and I'll show you this over here. Okay, I'm walking through my little squares and past my oval, and this one I haven't worked in nor added soil to the top. I'll add some more of the mushroom compost to this one. This is my bottles off of my bottle tree, and I'm going to buy some glass paint if it's not too expensive and repaint them because they have faded in the sun, and get my bottle tree up over here. I still love those plants down the back of the sunroom. There's my little sitting area. But this is what I was going to show you. Remember I told y'all that I planted a little salad tomato. We call them Tommy Toes, and I got a gazillion plants. Well, all of these that are not in baskets here, all of these are those little, some of them, I've got a bunch of them planted, and they're doing good. I've got basil right there in the middle. Right there's basil. And in the cages are celebrity. That's what we have the best luck with. So that's celebrity tomatoes, and of course some marigolds to keep the bugs off. I've got jalapenos planted here, and they're looking pretty good. And then that's celebrity tomatoes right there in the cages. And of course that's my mint, some of that big old thick purple juice stuff, and then my stevia came back, and man, it's doing good. And then in the one right over there where you see the little yellow bowl, if you fill it with water and put a little dish soap in it, when you start having those night moths and flies and bugs and stuff, a lot of them will get in there and drown. That is tarragon that came back. And then some more celebrity tomatoes are planted over there along with some marigolds. And I do have some marigolds planted down the middle of that one. That's going to have beans on it because you're not supposed to do cucumbers with, let me see, is it cucumbers can go with tomatoes or they can't? I got to look at my companion planting chart to see where I'm going to put what. But I know that on this big one here, that's the full cattle panel arched over, I know that's going to have running green beans on it. And then I'm going to put some kind of flowers that bloom on this little 3-tier thing. I've got to redo it and put new lining in it. But I thought it would be pretty to have some blooms there. All of my tomatoes, y'all can see how the ground looks so yucky? We have never had it look like this. This is always grass this time of the year. And we've had so many bad rains, floods basically, that we have no grass back here hardly. And when it rains, it's just mushy. Now, I've been dealing with a mole running under the ground. And that little booger needs to go back where he came from because he makes a hole under there. And then when it rains so bad, it just makes a river. And then when I step out, it's crazy. I want that mole to leave. Anyhow, all of my tomatoes over here are doing well. Some of them's got little tomatoes on them. Then let's go over here. And I'm just going to give y'all a look from right here. Tomatoes in all of those pots. And then I've got lantana behind them there that the birds planted. Several big plants that I'm going to dig up and move. My mint that wintered over is doing great, and I've trimmed it and shared some of it. And I've got, oh my goodness, a crawdad hole. See, that's how much water we've had. I hadn't had crawdads back here. Marigolds. This is vinca that's come back from this pot last year, and it's looking good. I haven't planted in this one yet. I found a package of white 4 o'clock seed that I got at a seed exchange, then forgot about. But I'm sure some of them will come up. So I'm going to go ahead and plant some of them in there to have a variety. These are probably going to be butter peas. I've got my seed out in there. I'm going to plant some watermelon radish and some plain radish. And I'm going to try some carrots and beets. It might be a little bit late to plant them, but you never know, so I'm going to try. My Rosa Sharon is starting to bloom there at the corner of the house. It's usually just covered in blooms, and it will be later on. So this is like I come out the back door straight down that wall there, and I walk out and around, and then I've got all of my... And when I started this backyard, there was nothing that big oak tree and another big oak tree, the big trees. Troy planted those trees when we moved down here. And so we've got some nice shade trees because he took time to plant some. My Peggy Martin rose is blooming over there. The pink. Okay, let's go check on our casserole. I just wanted to show y'all that I got those troughs out of there and got my beds in, and my husband can't do anything manually because y'all know he just can't breathe, but he can drive the tractor. So he brought the mushroom compost in the bucket, and he managed to back up and pull up and get it in that little gap and get up in there. And what we did, I had all of these flipped up out of the way, and he put it in the first one, and then we put down one little square one, and he put it in it, and the next little square one, and then this one was the last one, and he couldn't get on the long of it, so it was kind of a mess to get it in there, but it was so much better than me having to haul it in a little wagon and dump it in there. So he was such a great big help. He does everything that he's possibly able. And of course, I got my big blue feet, and they both got mint growing in them. The one on the left wintered over. The one on the right I just planted a few days ago. So it'll grow, and we'll have plenty of mint for whatever. And I'm just out here with the good Lord and the cool breeze and the birds, and I love it. Oh my goodness, I'm grateful, so thankful for this backyard. Remember, I brought all those peace plants out of the greenhouse that came from my son-in-law's service. March was a year ago. And I want to show y'all the blooms on them. They're blooming really pretty. Here's one. Now this one is from my brother's service several years ago. And it's blooming, but look over here. That one is just loaded with blooms. And that one is fixing to open a bunch of blooms. Isn't that just neat? It just makes you smile. And then over here, of course, I've got my chairs leaned forward over here because water gets in the rockers. And when you lean them forward, it just pours out like out of a tea kettle. So it's rained so much, I wanted to be sure that they didn't rust. But my airplane plant's looking good. I've got work to do in that corner over there. My grandson's hoopie's parked over there. Can-Am or whatever it is. I called it a hoopie, so everybody calls it a hoopie now. I'll show you something else while we're out here. All that soil I've told y'all is for my green stalks. I'm hoping we can get them set up this afternoon. I'm going to see if Troy feels like helping me. This is Mexican mint marigold that came back, and it's looking good. I planted me some sage. I don't know what I'm going to do with that red flag. I'll put it somewhere. And this is lemongrass that'll be planted hopefully over there around where we sit, where maybe it'll help repel mosquitoes. And then my garlic chives are doing good. And let me show you the onion chives. See, they're doing good. I need to give them a haircut so they'll grow some more, but they're doing really well. That's apple mint that Cindy bought me, and it made it through the winter, and it's coming back, and I'm just real happy with that. Now the posters are up. I think y'all have seen them. This is going to be to keep the chickens out of the rest of the yard and out of my garden. So I'll be glad when that happens. This good dark dirt right here, it was a pile of mulch. And then at one time, this is where Troy would dump me a scoop of the mushroom dirt to fill pots, etc. with. So for my birthday, Richard got me a little tiller attachment that attaches to the weed eater that he bought me. And you unscrew the weed eater part off and screw the other attachment on. So I'm going to get my little, it doesn't till, it's kind of like a mantis tiller, just a little tiller. I'm going to till this up and add some more mushroom dirt to it. And if Troy doesn't think we get enough sun here to do melons, I'm just going to plant tons of flowers here that I can have cut flowers in the house through the summer. But that's so dark and rich and good till that's what I'm going to do there. And that's wisteria, and somewhere in there's a Cape jasmine, and it'll be blooming. And there's our little joyride right there. And the hammocks are back there. Right here he dumped me, see how black that mushroom compost is? I'm going to work this in, and I'm going to plant, I got the 3 knockout roses that I'm going to plant in here. That's daylilies coming up. I'm going to have to move them. But this is going to be some knockout roses. My elderberry trees are doing good, and I'm telling you what, when you plant, I didn't know this when I got them because I wanted the berries for medicinal reasons, but they run under the ground and they just pop up everywhere, and they say they will get in your fill line, so I'm gonna have to be careful where I plant them. The fill line is running down behind the sunroom, so if I don't put one over there, maybe I'll be okay. This is my ginger coming back, and it'll be nice and tall. Let's see what else. Y'all see this post thing right here? And the top of it's right there somewhere. That was in our trailer that we bought brand new in 1970. It was the legs to a coffee table. There were 2 of them. And so it's lasted all these years. So I'm going to glue that little top part back on. See where the little knob is? It sits right there with super glue. And I'll use that to put a plant on. And let's see what else we've got out here. This is another kind of ginger, and it makes a twisted looking, and it has a, I don't know, it's just different, and I like it. There's Mr. and Miss Rabbit and their child. Another one of the elderberries that's big. I just hope they all bloom. See my little hydrangea there that's coming doing pretty well? I love hydrangeas. That's one of my favorites. My banana trees are coming back. You can see down the row there. You know how big they get in the summertime. And then I've got all of this shrimp plant that I've given a bunch of it away. What I'm going to do is dig it up and try to bunch it in one bunch real close together, and then the rest of this down to the fence will be hydrangeas. And Troy's going to move this oak tree out and plant it somewhere else. It was a volunteer, but it's making a nice little tree, so Troy's not going to dig it up. We'll dig it up and we'll put it somewhere. He didn't want me to cut it down. My hydrangeas back here are looking good. One of them's got a little bloom on it. And it'll turn into a big bloom. That's one of the ones I got. Costco had those. And oh my goodness, they're healthy and beautiful, so I'm anxious to get them all planted. All right, we better go in and check on our casserole. I wanted to show y'all something else while I'm waiting on the casserole to finish. If you have moths that come out in the springtime in the pantry or around your closet or just flying around your house, I have used these for many years now, and I order them from Amazon. I don't have an affiliate link. I'm going to try to get me one set up, but it's Catch Master moth traps, and you can order like a pack of 6 or a bundle of them, and they pop up. They come, of course, flat. They pop up, and these little things do together, but inside there's a little red, I don't know if y'all can, you see the little red thing in there? That's what attracts them. And this will just be full of moths that I put them in all of my pantry shelves, and then I've just got one sitting here by the lamp in the kitchen to catch the ones that would come in here. But they really work, and they're not that super expensive, and they last for quite a while. They have a place on them. You can mark the date so you'll know when you need to replace them. I didn't do that, but they really work. So in case you're battling with moths or you've seen a few, you better get them or you'll see a bunch. Okay, I got it out of the oven, and it actually cooked 45 minutes at 350. So let it cool a little bit, and I'll dish some up and we'll see how good it is. Alrighty, got me a little corner scooped out. We're going to see what it tastes like. Here's my portion. I clipped some green onion blades and put in there, and actually, let me show y'all. I took the bottom of some green onions and put it in this cup of water, and I have onion blades that I can clip when I need to, or I can sit them out, plant them outside and go out there and gather them. It's pretty hot, but I'm going to get me a bite of it, and then when it cools, I'm going to get me some more bites. Kind of like spaghetti, it won't roll around that fork for me. Yeah, that's good. And I'll probably just sit down to this helping of casserole with no meat of any kind and eat it. It's yummy. It's a good side to go with barbecue. You know, at a lot of your barbecue places, they'll have cabbage as one of your vegetable choices. Well, mercy. This will go really good with barbecue. It would go good with fried chicken. It'll go good with anything. So there's y'all another side dish that's a little bit different, not expensive to make. And you probably, you know, you may have to buy a head of cabbage, but the rest of it you probably have in your pantry. So I hope y'all will try it and let me know what you think about it. I'm not making any promises, but I'm going to try to get a dessert made today for us to have for lunch tomorrow. And if I do, y'all will have a video coming up of that. But I'll do my best to put some up, but just bear with me till school's out, and then we'll be on a roll again. I'm going to do some canning, and I'll be canning some of the stuff that I'm growing in the garden and some stuff that I buy from the farmer's market. So the hummingbird's back out there again. He'd be a fat little pig. Anyway, I'll see y'all again in a day or two. The good Lord bless you. And if you're not listening to the news and you're not paying attention to YouTube channels like Doug and Stacy, Off Grid with Doug and Stacy and some of the others, you might need to. Because all of this couple of years that I've been telling y'all, get an extra can of beans, get an extra this, get an extra that. It's coming down to the, it's just coming down to the D-Day. Y'all need to get your pantry stocked and be prepared for extreme prices or shortages or whatever might happen. You need to pay attention and be wise. In the Bible it talks about the ants, the conies. They stock up in the summer for the winter because instinct tells them that they're not going to be able to find food in the winter. Well, it's going to be a rough season, so y'all need to put you some stuff up. The good Lord bless you, and I'll be back soon with something else. My soon might not be your soon, but it'll be pretty soon.